So for someone who's watching on Facebook, someone who's listening, they see you, triple amputee, going out there and kicking ass. What's your message?
Shit happens. Live your life.
It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And we're there. We are live at the Brent Sopel Celebrity Golf Tournament. I'm James Van Alstyne. My voice is almost gone, but it's with us long enough to welcome Bryan Anderson, sitting in the front seat.
Thank you.
Actor, war hero, veteran, gymnast, extreme lifestyle enthusiast.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I guess let's start with your story. Iraq war veteran,
Yes.
and then things went bad.
2005, I got blown up, and I lost 3 limbs, and I literally woke up as a triple amputee, like, okay, now what? And I had no idea where that was going to go, but I at least had enough mindset to be like, you know what? Take it a day at a time and see where it goes. And I was surprising to find that I can still do a lot of things, like most things, everything, pretty much. Like, you might look at me and think I can't do a lot of things.
Oh no, I don't think.
But
that at
there's
all.
a
I've been
lot
watching
of things that I can do that you can't do, and it's like spin my hand around. Wait, no. There we go. All the way, and it keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, and I can even like take my hand off too. Like, come on. I toss this thing across the room.
Halloween month,
like that.
yeah.
Oh, it's great. I've never done that. I will not do the cheap Halloween. Be the wounded combat veteran. Look, no, I can't do that. That's too easy. So I gotta like.
Let's backtrack a little bit. You wake up a triple amputee, and the way you just described it was kind of cavalier. It couldn't have possibly been that cavalier when you had that revelation.
No, but it really is at the same time, because it's like, well, you can't put your shit back on. Like, it doesn't go back on. So you have to accept that this is the way you are now. And then once you're able to do that, you can just start thriving.
For sure.
And that's what I did.
And I think my point is, most people wouldn't have that same sense of awareness and groundedness to move forward like that. Most people would have had a big pity moment, a freak out moment, panic, existential crisis moment.
All I can say is there's all types of different people, but for me, it was like, what are you going to do? You going to roll over and die, or are you going to move on? And it was like, you know what? Screw that. I'm not ready to be done with doing stupid shit with my friends. And so it was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes to go do stupid things with my friends. And like, that was the whole motivation behind it. But it has given me such an extraordinary, amazing life ever since I got blown up.
Interesting.
And like, I can't complain. I got nothing to complain about. I'm missing 3 limbs, but yeah, no, there's nothing to complain about. Life is amazing, and in my opinion, the thing that limits you is your mind.
For sure.
You let your mind take over, and you think this is going to be a bad thing. Yeah, it's going to be a bad thing. But if you think you can do something with it, then you know what? You're going to be able to do something with it.
This is a great story, and this is a great. I think this is an important perspective for a lot of people to hear. I'm watching you just doing everything that everybody else is doing here, probably better than a lot of people. When did you get noticed by or hook up with Gary Sinise?
I met Gary Sinise while I was at Walter Reed, and I literally was practicing walking on legs, prosthetic legs, and I fell into him. Not even realizing that I was
Literally
falling into him. But he stood strong, and he held me up, and I like pushed off of his chest and looked up, and I'm like, holy crap, that's Gary Sinise. And he looks at me, and he's like, holy shit, the real Lieutenant Dan. And I'm like, no, I'm never going to be Lieutenant Dan, but this is kind of incredible. And then he sat down and talked to me for like 10 minutes. And then, like, we both learned that we were both Chicago boys. And he, like, we ended up at the same events together. And he recognized that. And then after a while, he's like, hey, why don't you start traveling around with us? And then after a year of that, he's like, hey, you know, I'd like you to be an ambassador for the foundation. And I'm like, cool.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, I'll do that.
Uh-huh.
And so for the last 10 years, I've been an ambassador for Gary Sinise Foundation.
I love that.
It's been amazing.
And your hobbies, I mean, you do crazy shit that other people would be terrified to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie.
Uh-huh. So tell me about the stuff you do.
You know, it's anything that gets my heart pumping. And I've done skydiving, I've done bungee jumping, I've done all this stuff. But honestly, like, the biggest thrill is to be able to help somebody realize that they can do something.
Pardon me.
No worries, you're good. But that's what it's really about, you know? And I think that all kind of plays into that. Like, yes, granted, I'm not afraid to try anything, and I'll do anything. But that rush is when you get to show somebody else that you can do it too.
Right. The military, serving in the armed forces. If you had to do it all over again, would you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's given me so much perspective on what this world is like that unfortunately, I feel that half to 3/4 of the people in America have no idea.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't feel bad about that by any means. That is the exact reason we have our military, is so that every other person can go and live their life
right.
without having to think about anything. That was the goal in the beginning. That's still the goal today. I just wish more people would understand that there's a reason you have that.
Right. Right. All right, so tell me about the foundation as it exists today and what you're working on.
Gary Sinise Foundation, and I actually work for USA Cares too, which is out of Kentucky. But Gary Sinise Foundation, like, they're an amazing foundation, and there's nothing you can say bad about them. They really help the veteran. They really help them get what they need. And at the same time, out of all the foundations that I've ever seen, he has the highest percentage of the dollar going to the veteran.
That's great.
It's like 93 cents on the dollar going to the veteran. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
because you hear stories about charities, and it's,
oh my gosh, yeah, it's bad sometimes, and they're not necessarily doing anything illegal. They're just following the guidelines.
Right.
But who says those guidelines are real or like
right.
legit? Like, to me, it seems like it's bullshit. But you know, these guys have realized what needs to happen, and then they just started doing it, and that's what's incredible to me. Like, they're not about the paycheck. They've already made their shit.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And they're literally just doing it just to help.
Right.
And to me, that's why it is where it is. Like, you know, like the Susan G. Komen or B. Komen or whatever. Like, 12 cents of the dollar goes to the actual research of cancer, and it's like, really? Like, I would have assumed, like, with all that shit, all that money that's going to that foundation, you would assume that it would be better. Gary makes, and it's a public record too.
Yeah, of course.
That it's $30 million a year, and he's still got 93 cents on the dollar going to the Patriot.
I love it.
That's amazing. You don't do better than that. You know what? I challenge you to do better than that.
There it is. So for someone who's watching on Facebook, someone who's listening, they see you, triple amputee, going out there and kicking ass. What's your message?
Shit happens. Live your life.
That's it, right? That's the bottom
it.
line. Shit happens. Live your life. You're a remarkable man. Thank you for doing this interview.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.